Further debate. Member from Lennox, Addington and Frontenac.
Thank you, Speaker. It's my pleasure to rise and speak regarding our motion to scrap the Ontario Power Authority, the OPA. But before I engage in that debate, I was listening to the member who was speaking, the member from Ottawa Centre, the Liberal member, and I think it's interesting how the member was telling this House how he was traumatized when it was dark and he couldn't use the phone. And would it be unfair, Speaker, to suggest that the member from Ottawa Centre may be a trauma queen? I don't know, but I think that maybe is what is happening with all the Liberals and our healthcare system. Whenever the sun goes down, it's such a traumatic experience for them all that our healthcare system gets overloaded until the sun rises in the morning, possibly. But anyway, let's go back to the Ontario Power Authority and this Liberal government. Let's recognize the Ontario Power Authority is just one of over 600 unelected, unaccountable agency boards and commissions that this Liberal government has sicked upon the people of this province. And really the only role for these agency boards and commissions, the only role is to allow the Liberal government to hide from the taxpayers of this province, allow the Liberal government to obscure from the taxpayers who's making decisions in this province. It creates that thickening layer of fog and confusion between who has power and who's using it. But this Liberal government, let me recall a story last summer in Toronto when this Legislative Assembly hosted the Midwestern State and Provincial Leaders Conference, and a Vice President from the OPA was at that conference, and he spoke about energy, and he said to the conference, he said, "We in Ontario have made a conscious decision to go to green energy, and it's going to cost us all more." And what happened after that, a legislator from Nebraska stood up and asked this Vice President of the OPA, he says, how does industry react to that statement about rising and increasing energy costs? And the Vice President said this, he says, "We've made a conscious decision in this province that if your industry requires a significant amount of energy, this is not the province for you to do business in." Now, we never had that debate. I never heard that debate. And I challenge anybody in this House, when did we debate that industry has no place in this province? But that's what the OPA Vice President said to the Midwestern State Conference just last summer in Toronto. And really and truly, that's what the Liberal conservation plan, if the Liberals have a conservation plan, that's it. Drive industry out of this province, and that way we'll use less energy. That's their conservation plan. Nobody else can compete here, and one has to look no further than last May with Extrada up in Timmins. They left this province because of energy costs. They didn't go to Mexico, they went to Quebec, where hydro costs are a third of what they are here. This Ontario Power Authority is nothing more than a bloated bureaucracy. It has gone from 15 to 300 employees in 5 years. 5 years. It's gone from up to $300 million in expenses to run that. Its expenses are up 465% in 5 years. Its sunshine list has gone up over 1,000%. It's this McGuinty Liberal government building bureaucratic empires, and they're using the agency boards and commissions to do it. This is just one small step we're proposing here today, to get rid of one incompetent agency that provides no value to anybody in this province except the Premier and the Minister of Energy so that they can hide from the truth, so they can hide from the taxpayers of this province. Well, the smart meter, the Liberal smart meter, just keeps cranking up the costs to the people of Ontario, cranking up the costs to every family, to every industry, and driving industry out. Let's stand up for the government members. Let's stand up and tell the people of Ontario that you've had enough and you're going to get rid of this agency once and for all.